Hey everyone, Izzy and MJ from Endless RVing. We have an important RV industry update. This is from RV Travel, dated January 28th, 2023. And it's regarding Goodyear, the tire maker, who's currently facing federal criminal investigation over some RV tire issues that happened some years ago.
So RVTravel.com has been following this story for quite a while, actually. It has to do with Goodyear's G159 tires. So more than 40 lawsuits have been filed dealing with alleged defects of these tires. So that number was of 2018. Most of these claims have been settled out of court, but as Izzy mentioned, now it seems to be headed into a criminal investigation.
The specific tire is the G159 tire, and there were many civil lawsuits, but the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration has been fielding complaints for a long time. These tires have not been in production since 2003, but there have been quite a few pretty bad accidents, and the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration, they're now investigating if there was something inherently wrong with the tire, some kind of manufacturing defect.
There were actually, they said, approximately 98 deaths and injuries from these tires.
Some of the common defects or problems that were happening that were being reported with sidewall blowouts as well as tread separation. Some cases it was just damage, would cause damage to the motorhome or RV it was on, but in several cases it caused loss of control and actual crashes of motorhomes.
So a consumer advocacy group titled the Center for Auto Safety, they said it had records of quote unquote at least 98 deaths or injury claims, as I had mentioned before, in addition to more than 600 property damage claims. Now, they were wondering why hadn't the NHTSA acted sooner? Well, the NHTSA claimed that they were largely in the dark. So there were court orders, they said, to seal records that kept them out of the loop, they said.
So a lot of these civil lawsuits that are brought against Goodyear on settlements, it's quite common that when you have a settlement, there's kind of like
a non-disclosure.
Like a gag order. So it can't be spoken about. Nobody admits right or wrong. They just kind of pay and go away. So that's a way to kind of keep things, more under the cover.
Right. Now you're looking at this recall that it was 2022. As Izzy said, these tires were stopped being produced in 2003. So that's almost 2 decades past when the issues were happening.
Right, and the estimate was that there was, approximately 40,000 tires of those tires on the road back in 2018 or so. So now in 2022, and we're now in 23, a federal grand jury in Los Angeles is breathing new life into an old civil case. Well, they want information from an old civil case because they have a federal grand jury investigation. So the jury has issued subpoenas for the records that tie back to a case that was reported on, and MJ's going to talk about that case from 2003, and it's a pretty sad case.
It really is. It's the Hager family. So in 2003, it's Leroy Hager and his family. They were traveling in New Mexico on I-25. They were in a Class A, and their right steer tire blew, and Leroy lost control. So their coach went over an embankment. They had a Great Dane in the RV with them, went through the windshield, horrible. And then he was pinned, I'm going to read this, he was pinned by the steering...
Not the Great Dane.
No, I'm sorry, Leroy. Leroy Hager was pinned by the steering wheel and suffered chest and abdominal injuries, as well as having his right leg nearly cut off below the knee. He went through 17 surgeries after that.
So as a result of this crash, the Hagers retained David Kurtz, who's an Arizona attorney. Mr. Kurtz filed a suit for the family, and before the case reached a courtroom, Goodyear settled with the family in 2010. But a year later, Kurtz was alarmed to find information that showed Goodyear had failed to respond to the family's request for full information on Goodyear's own testing of the tires, information that might have led to a different kind of handling in the matter.
So as a result of that, Kurtz and the Hager family went back to court. They were saying that the tire maker had lied and concealed material facts. Now, this is what happened in 2012. A federal judge sided with the Hagers, which is good, and the judge declared that the tire maker and their attorneys had made repeated deliberate decisions, and this is all quote, to delay the production of relevant information, make misleading and false in-court statements, and conceal relevant documents. So the judge ordered Goodyear to pay the Hagers $2.7 million. Of course, Goodyear appealed that, and then the Supreme Court knocked it down to just a little bit over $500,000.
Now, some might be wondering, why did they settle for $520,000? We don't know the full story, but remember, this accident, this crash happened in 2003. Their settlement, not their settlement, their award was in 2012. So imagine the legal cost, the emotional cost, and maybe they just wanted to. And again, you're fighting Goodyear that just has millions and millions and millions of dollars. So that's kind of where that settled.
It's really a shame. I guess we'll get to this after we're done to talk about it. But the amount of money they probably spent just in legal fees, they probably walked away with very little.
So the federal grand jury is requesting documents from the Hagers and their attorney. David Kurtz said he would be happy to hand that over for this criminal investigation. Approximately 200,000 documents regarding this case. The grand jury, what are they looking for? It's a secret proceeding, so people don't really know, but the NHTSA said that Goodyear should have issued a recall within 5 days of becoming aware of the defects of the G159 tires. The recall was issued in 2022. Remember, this crash was in 2003.
Yeah. And what's really disturbing is that Goodyear was allegedly, they knew about these defects back in 2002, which was a year before the Hagers crash.
So we just want to say that all this is a criminal investigation at this point. There have been no charges filed, and we don't know what's going to come out of it. Nobody knows what's going to come out of it. But we thought it was important for everybody to know because tire blowouts are a problem. They're a serious thing that do happen.
Right, and I would use this as a reminder to always be checking your tires for cracks and tears and, you know, just anything that doesn't look normal. Get yourself a TPMS, like all those things.
Make sure your weight is, you're properly loaded, you're not overweight. Another thing, since 2003, there have been new technologies that have come out that if you do have a blowout, you will not lose control. NIRVC works with Retroband, and there's actually a video, we'll link that video down, we'll link it above, where they purposely cause a blowout on a motorhome, and the owner, Brett Davis, does not lose control.
Right.
So in the comments below, do you have any kind of tire blowout protection? Have you had a blowout in your motorhome or RV? If so, what has been the result? Did it turn out well, not so well? Put all that in the comments below. And to the left of us, we're gonna put our RV DIYs playlist as well as our RV Tours playlist. And for myself and MJ, it's a journey of a lifetime, and we'll see you on the road.